Action fanatics, welcome to another edition of the Bulletproof Podcast. I am your host, Chris the Brain, and joining me once again, it is the Toy Man, Chris Petrillo.
That's right, back on the podcast to open my mouth about open fire.
Thank you so much. You can close it for a moment because now we are going to introduce Ryan Campbell.
Yeah, Brain, I was glued to my seat for this entire movie, but I think that was because of the heat.
Yeah, somebody opened the fires of hell here, and it has been very warm, but we've got a very cool movie to talk about. But something I forgot to mention last week is I noticed we had a comment over on Spotify from Lee discussing in response to our Masters of the Universe episode, and he said the reason that 90s kids didn't watch He-Man was because in the 90s they sent He-Man into space and it was shit. Do you recall this, Toy Man?
I do. The New Adventures of He-Man, which featured a space version of He-Man. It was not Prince Adam. He was just He-Man through and through, different looks. Skeletor was there, and then there were a whole bunch of new characters. So I guess it was Mattel's way of trying to make some new toys, but it did not stick. Even with a longtime He-Man fan like myself, you know, I had several of the toys, but by that point it was like, oof, this is not the He-Man that I know and love.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I don't remember. Of course, at that point I wasn't tuned into the cartoons of the world, but I do remember, I think it was some sort of maybe a documentary. It may have been like the Filmation documentary, or maybe just something I saw on YouTube, and I was like, what the hell? They had, that's where I found out they had a He-Man cartoon. But we do appreciate the comment. Lee, he did also say we have a great podcast, and that he loved the new He-Man movie as well. So very good. Obviously, we encourage you to leave comments for us wherever, on YouTube, on the Spotify, subscribe, hit the like, do whatever it is that you're listening on. Right, Ryan Campbell? Whatever the gimmick is.
That's right. Yeah, whatever. If there's a button around our talking, click it.
Exactly. And, this is probably where I should put the donate now button. But no, we won't be doing that. Now listen though. So yeah, do that. Another thing you should do, you should visit bulletproofaction.com, folks, because the coverage of the final season of House of the Dragon continues. Ryan Campbell, how are you feeling about it so far? For those who may not have read it.
I'm enjoying it. It did feel like apparently like the season premiere was supposed to be the season finale from last season, which watching it in hindsight makes a lot of sense, which means this past week's probably would have been the season premiere. But it all works. But people are enjoying it. It's very immersive to sit in this heat and watch a show of dragons breathing fire. Right. It's almost like a 4D cinema or something. Mm-hmm. So it's been nice. It's been good. It's definitely picking up.
All right. And last week I covered the newly released Man of War. You should definitely check that one out. I will not be surprised to see that like on the Action Fans top 10 of the year. It was very good. As I mentioned last week, we've got reviews coming up later this month for Motor City, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Also, Shark Week is at the end of the month. So
there's another shark movie coming out now. It's like people go cave diving and there's a shark in there.
Like The Descent meets Shark Attack?
Pretty much something like that. Yeah. I thought it was when I watched the trailer, I thought it was something like supernatural, but no, just the sharks in the cave.
We'll have to keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, I'll have some shark content when Shark Week hits. And we'll also be celebrating Arnold Schwarzenegger's birthday. And of course, there'll be some No Surrender Cinema content. Toy Man,
yes,
have you come up with any ideas of what you're going to be doing for the month of July?
I have not narrowed anything down yet. I have been checking out the old Tubi rabbit hole to see where it goes, but it'll to be continued as far as what shows up in NSC. But there will be one coming quite quickly as this podcast drops, and then another one later in the month.
That's right. You know, I may have to look at the suggestion box because I think there was one in there for you. But we'll do that. off air. We're not going to do that on the air because we're here to talk about Jeff Wincott in Open Fire. This one was released on January 3rd, 1995. It's been a while since we talked about Jeff Wincott. In fact, the last time was Mission of Justice, and Open Fire, Toyman, was produced by the same company that gave us Mission of Justice and so many other films.
Not just the same company, but there's a lot of the same cast and crew, a lot of repetition between Mission of Justice and this film, a lot of familiar faces that we see pop up, and even, the people in the background, producer, director. Let me just pull this up here because I know Pierre David, and Pierre David should be familiar to you from doing the Scanner series.
Yes, that's right. And
So
the Scanner Cop. Mm-hmm.
Yep. He also did Martial Outlaw.
Yes, he
Another
did.
Jeff Wincott one. Have you watched Martial Outlaw?
I have. I reviewed it many years ago. He also did Martial Law 2.
Yep. He did Marked Man with Roddy Piper.
I've seen that one pop up. I'm like, oh, it's been a minute since we've talked about the Hot Rod.
We recently talked about Lorenzo Lamas. We went back to the Snake Eater films to talk about him, but he did Bounty Tracker.
Yeah, that's right.
So a lot of Bulletproof action greatest hits done by Mr. David.
Yeah, and he did this one up good. This is definitely a Die Hard at a recycling plant. Isn't that?
There's a little twist though. Our hero is not already in the danger zone when the inciting incident happens. He has to sneak.
And the end is obviously a bit different as well. So we'll get into it though, because the movie, before we get to the end, let's start at the beginning.
Yeah, what's the rush, Brain? We got all night.
Let's start at the beginning because it begins at Atwater State Prison, and we see a shackled Stein Kruger, played by the one and only, somebody we've talked about many times on this program, Patrick Kilpatrick, and he's being escorted by some prison guards to do his mop duty. And then as soon as the guards leave, moments later, some other prisoners come in. They try to shank old Kruger, but Kruger dispatches of them instead. So when the guards come back, they're like, oh, shit, this isn't what we were expecting to see. So they hate this man so much, Ryan Campbell.
That's right.
They want him dead.
Absolutely. He kind of mocks them that they're going to have to try harder if they want to off him while he's in prison. Also, props to, we mentioned the Die Hard cloneness, Stein Kruger, Hans Gruber.
Yeah, that's
what a name.
Yeah. And you know what?
But no accent. We don't get the evil accent.
No.
I just watched him recently in Minority Report. I always forget he's in that.
He's in a lot of things. I want to say that this is the movie, and the moment of him mopping, one of the gimmicks I use and continue to use in the bonus bullet points is if you ever, and I believe that Patrick was the inspiration for that, because it was, if you ever wanted to see Patrick Kilpatrick mop a floor, then Open Fire is the movie for you. And that started a whole trend of me throwing those if you evers in to my reviews. So thank you, Patrick Kilpatrick, and your mop bucket.
And it's a bit of a full circle moment here on the podcast, because we talked about him making his film debut in The Toxic Avenger,
which also featured a mop bucket.
Exactly.
Right. We're going to have to talk about Death Warrant at some point, so we can talk
World's
about
most dangerous mopped floors, Breen.
Or a golden butthorn that's mop bucket themed. I think might be in order.
Oh yeah.
The golden butthorn edit popped up on Instagram this week.
Oh,
I think it was.
I saw. Yeah.
The VCR of Death channel had the golden butthorn edit.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Then after Kruger survives his potential shanking, we see a linen truck full of mercenaries, and they're actually listening to a message from Stein Kruger as they're traveling the California highways. Then we cut to see our hero, Jeff Wincott, Alec McNeil, and he looks like Toyman that he is auditioning for a spot in the Pile Driver music video.
Yeah, he's got the purple bandana on, the stubble. He's got the jackhammer. You know, if this was modern wrestling, you could say that he was probably auditioning for a spot in Judgment Day with how he was dressed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's looking rough around the edges. This is not the polished Jeff Wincott that we're normally used to seeing.
Yeah, so he works for the telephone company, the hard labor crew of the telephone company. And there's a young rookie who is getting razzed by the vets, played by the one and only Jeff Pruitt. And this is one of those people you were mentioning, Toyman, that we saw in Mission of Justice.
Yeah, he was what was his name? Sal. He was the guy with the gloves that when they went to the garage fight, he had like the rapid fire fists. But he's also worked as like a stunt coordinator and a fight choreographer on a lot of these films as well.
Yep, he did the stunt coordination on this film, to be exact. And then we cut to the linen truck that is being pulled over for a brake light infraction. And the cop, another Mission of Justice alumni, Chris Creesa, lets the driver, Roy, off with a warning. But Ryan Campbell, Roy messes up. But actually, it's more like the cop messes up.
Yeah, he kind of gets on to Roy, giving him the bullshit. And instead of kind of playing coy and then calling in for backup, yeah, he ends up trying to be the hero and gets shot for his trouble.
He's done. Goodbye. Thanks for coming, Creesa.
I feel like that's always kind of a common thing with these movies too, is there's always like a innocent security guard or like bystander or like worker that gets offed in like the first few minutes by the underground crew.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people at the church and Die Hard 2.
Yeah, that guy was just in charge of the church.
Mm.
He was the custodian there. That's a shame. Now we cut back to Alec, who it's after hours. Everyone's quit. It's quitting time. He climbs up the pole though and uses his phone skills to just, why not give your dad a call at work?
I think every job, Brain, should have those little perks. Like we all gotta like do this shit until we die. Like we all gotta go make money to feed the machine. So the least that could happen is every job should have just like a little perk that's like associated to that job that just nobody else gets to have.
Yeah,
is he can just tap in and use the phone whenever he wants.
Yeah, he's good. So he calls his dad. His dad is working at Martinson Industries, which is a plant that recycles plastic. But it's Lynn Tolbert who answers when he calls, and she's very excited to hear from Alec. And she patches him through to his father, and Alec's like, oh, we should go fishing. Oh, that sounds great. And his dad, Toyman, Bob McNeil, played by Lee Dubrow. What do you remember Mr. Dubrow from mostly?
RoboCop.
Absolutely. He plays Sal in that. He's another Sal.
He just has a Sal face.
He's Sal in that one, just like Pruitt was Sal in the other one.
And we should mention that Lynn is played by Wes Craven's ex-wife, Mimi Craven. I don't know if either of you have ever seen it, but I remember her from the movie Mikey, which featured Brian Bonsall from Family Ties when he was like the killer kid.
Oh yeah, I have seen that. Doesn't it also have a John Deal in it from?
Yes, yep, John Deal from Miami Vice and
Kickboxer 2. Yep. Yeah. You know who?
And Angel. He was the killer in Angel.
He was. You know who put me onto the Mikey movie?
Was it Chad Cruz?
No, Chad Cruz. He doesn't do anything. No, our good friend Paul London was the one who tipped me off about Mikey.
Nice.
I thought
shout out to PL.
Was a Life cereal commercial, but it wasn't. It was a movie about a killer kid. Not unlike the Macaulay Culkin. What's that one? The Good Son?
The Good Son with him and Elijah Wood. Yep.
Yeah.
And I believe Mikey actually came out in 92.
Did it come out first?
And The Good Son was 93. Yeah.
Copycat bastard. All right.
That or they did the gimmick of just like rushing production to get out first. We must beat Good Son.
You know what? That policy has worked time and again. Breakin' better than Beat Street. That's just the way it is. Iron Eagle better than Top Gun. That's just the way it is.
I was just watching a YouTube video on the Scary Movie versus Shriek. I Know What You Did last Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, yep.
And they were talking about how that actually started production first, but it didn't have, the money behind it that Scary Movie did, and it got out in front of it and beat it to theaters and pretty much nuked it at that point. It ended up coming out like on USA Network and got buried by like 6 things. There was like a presidential debate, the ALCS with the Yankees in it, and there was like 4 other things that all came out the same night.
That thing was cursed.
It was
from
the very beginning.
Bob McNeil, Alec's dad, does mention that a management position has opened.
Ooh.
But Alec's like,
nepotism.
And he's like, hey, son, sooner or later, you're going to have to put the past behind you. I don't know how. I mean, at this point, we don't know what that past is.
Yeah, what kind of past can a
management position help erase
a telephone pole climber man have? I don't know.
Right, and then it's like, and how is being a manager at a recycling plant going to help put that? Did he like manage somebody wrong? And he's like, I'll never be a manager again. I'm just going to be a grunt out in the. No, that's not how it happened. But once the phone call's over, there's an alert in the plant. So duty calls. Bob's there. One of the tanks is overheating. The pressure's rising, but Bob and Lynn, they get it under control. They know what they're doing over there at Martinson. So Alec, now we pick up with Alec. He's apparently went home, showered, and he's shaving as he's walking to his truck, as one does.
Busy man. He's very busy. No time.
Using the mirror on the truck to check out his freshly shaved face.
How did Jeff Wincott not get a Gillette sponsorship after that? How did we not get a series of commercials of just Jeff Wincott walking into random places shaving his face?
Right. Yeah, well, I don't know if it's a Gillette. You had the electric razor, so it would have had to been who the hell is
Norelco,
Phillips, yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, one of those. He would have had to have that sponsorship. But yeah, he's all looking good. He's going to head out, get a drink. He had it's Miller time, for God's sake. All right. The linen truck.
You've had a hard day.
Right. You have. Have yourself some Colt 40. The linen truck, Ryan Campbell.
This damn linen truck.
They didn't just show us that linen truck no, the linen truck has now arrived of all places, Martinson Industries. What kind of linens would they need over there?
And yeah, especially this late at night. Linens aren't made of plastic.
No. Yeah.
Okay, they probably are, though. Apparently plastic's in everything. It's in all of our balls. It's just everywhere.
What the?
Oh what?
How did we go there?
I don't know what kind of a diet you're on, Ryan Campbell, but I'm pretty sure there's no plastic in my balls.
Oh, all of ours. We all got microplastics.
All of them. All of them. Everybody.
If you crack us open, just like microplastics come out.
All right. Sure. A security guard is shot as soon as, because he's like, wait a minute, you can't deliver here. So he's shot for his trouble. Then the mercenaries start coming out of the truck and start taking hostages. One guy goes right for the communications. They always have to be so dramatic with that communication cutting. Like have a big circular saw. Or chop saw, I suppose. Why? Why couldn't he just pull it with his hands, Ryan Campbell?
Yeah, because you need the dramatic, like sparks flying, all that shit.
Exactly. You're right, because it's a movie, folks.
That's right.
Bob is doing it. Bob is in charge. So he's walking around, all of a sudden he sees one of his guys get killed. He said, oh shit, that ain't good. And Lynn hears the gunshots, and she wisely hides. She turns off the light in the room she was in and hides. And this is 100% accurate. This is what you're supposed to do in these scenarios, Ryan Campbell. I don't know if you've ever had to see any of those training videos.
I recall, but never anything like that. No,
yeah, I remember like a workplace violence video I had to watch, and it was like, if you can't get to an exit, get yourself
hunker down,
hide, barricade the door. If you could lock the door, barricade, whatever you have to do. But yeah, so she did exactly. as training would have you do. And so yeah, now the mercenaries they're also like sealing the door that they came in on, welding it shut. Bob's goes for his cell phone, dials 911. Operator picks up, but before he can tell her what's going on, Toyman, one of your favorites, shows up and puts a stop to it.
Yeah, kind of a surprise appearance here. I actually completely forgot he was in this film, and he doesn't pop up on the cast list. But the character's name is Bishop, played by the same man that everybody would know and love from Karate Kid Part 2, and then eventually Cobra Kai. Yuji Okamoto, aka Chosen. Great to see him in here. I actually completely forgot that he popped up in this movie.
I did as well. And we also talked about him when we talked Hard Justice.
That's true.
With David Brand.
And Mean Guns.
Did we cover Mean Guns?
I didn't. I don't think
we
I
did.
ever.
Toyman did his own podcast that week.
Was that the podcast, or was that just an NSC? Because I know Mean Guns was done not that long ago.
I think you did. I think you did it.
It was just an NSC.
Yeah. Yes. Possibly for Actionversary, because we were probably going back to the Albert Pune well. So then we see now Ryan Campbell on top of all that. Now there's some of these mercenaries, they're setting charges.
Yep, you gotta get your exit strategy and immediately start getting your trump card. So they start wiring the place, because when the cops come, you need that leverage. You got to have that leverage.
And if they're welding the door shut, they got to be able to get out, because that's not going to help them if they're welding them. Then they can't get out, and no one can get in.
Right. And so now Lynn is lurking around the plant. She's kind of the first fly in the ointment. At this point, Alec has arrived at the bar, and the bartender, Ryan Campbell, seems to take a liking to him.
That's right. She's definitely probing, asking lots of questions, I guess, but all bartenders do that. So maybe he's not picking up on it. I don't know. But we have the benefit of having a camera that kind of lingers on her, and you can tell she's interested.
Yeah, she is.
She's admiring his freshly shaven face.
Yeah.
I don't know if it reaches me so horny levels.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
Yeah, she wasn't that thirsty.
And he was thirsty, so she gave him a beer. And now we go back to the plant. A black and white has shown up because obviously the 911 person did what they were supposed to do. And even though they didn't get all the information, they likely traced the call where it was coming from. And just as a precaution, had a cop go check things out. And Walter...
You know how that goes.
He's like the outdoor security guy. He's just like in his little security mobile, driving around. Played by the one
like the Walmart greeter of the plant.
Yeah, oh yeah, he fits that bill. Burt Remsen, who I will always remember from as the priest from Eye of the Tiger, and he's also in Code of Silence with Chuck Norris. He has not noticed anything strange tonight. Great job there, Walter. Idiot. The cop's car is then moments later blown up. And now shit's on. Now it's like moments later, Ryan Campbell. The whole, you know it. It's a circus. The cops are all around. It's exactly what you need for this Die Hard-like scenario.
Absolutely. And again, we have a wise mastermind that plans for this, because eventually it's going to get out. You know, you got a timetable for these things, but eventually they're going to set up the perimeter, and that's when the real cat and mouse chess match kind of begins.
Yeah. So Bob is elected to deliver a cassette tape to the cops. So he does so. Back at the bar, though, that poor rookie is now getting his balls busted, and they're cheating at the pool, and Alec once again steps in, and they start shit-talking, and now we get a little glimpse of the past. They're like, oh, you were a failure as a cop. Now we see. So again, I don't know how becoming a manager of a plastic recycling plant will help rectify the failure as a cop thing, but it's all right. Parents mean well. The obligatory bar fight breaks out, and really one of the greatest scenes in this movie is Alec punching a pitcher of beer in the guy's face.
And it's not like that TC 2000 thing where Bolo punched the door and it killed Matthias Hughes. It's, he actually just punches through the beer as part of the fight.
Yeah, it just shatters everywhere. It's beautiful. Really well done. And then when the dust settles from this bar fight, Alec notices the news coverage of the situation at Martinson, and he even sees his dad delivering that tape, Ryan Campbell. So he is getting all worked up now.
Yeah, it's personal now.
Walter, so the Davis is Special Agent Davis is in charge of the situation, and he's like, okay, I need to play this tape. Well, Walter's security guard mobile had a tape deck in it, so Walter has some use here. Toy Man, I'll go to you first. What do you think Walter is listening to on that tape deck?
I want to give you a witty answer. Maybe he's listening to Sailing by Christopher Cross.
Possibly. Ryan Campbell, do you have a guess?
Oh, man. I don't know. I was 7 years old. Something that was popular when I was 7.
I'm going to say he was
Teenage
listening to
Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song.
Turtle Power, Partners in Crime, Turtle Power.
I think you're both wrong. I think he was listening to the best of Perry Como, personally.
Oh, did not expect a Perry Como reference. I thought that I was going outlandish with the Christopher Cross reference.
No.
Kudos, sir.
He's listening to Perry Como. And you know what?
Maybe he's listening to Gorilla Funk by Paris.
Oh, I think when
soundtrack.
When I post this on Instagram, I'm just going to include a Perry Como song without any context, and maybe that won't be like, why? What does Perry Como have to do with Open Fire? Well, hopefully they'll listen and find out.
I know one thing. Kruger's like little tape recorder yak back thing is getting a workout.
Yeah. I guess he had it. He must have had this tape recorder in his cell, and he was just making tapes.
Yeah,
he made more tapes in this than Chappie Sinclair and Iron Eagle.
And the way that he you'll find out here a little later how much he gets them down to like the very minute of what's going to happen in the future. You almost think he's a time traveler.
Yeah, he's good.
Play by play. He's commentating on his own scheme.
Yeah.
Yes. He's like the succulent Chinese meal guy. He's just doing his own narration. He does what he wants. Anyway, they play the tape. It's Kruger. He's like, release him, get him to the plant in 1 hour, or all the hostages will be killed. All right, that's classic. That's bad guy 101. So we cut to Atwater. We in fact see Kruger is being released. The head guard is like, "You'll be back," and Kruger, I think he like knees him or
he gave him like the reverse headbutt.
Yeah, he takes him down. He's like, "Yeah, you're never gonna see me again." Yeah, well, we'll find out. Alec, we now see, is driving to Martinson, and we get the flashback. Ryan Campbell, he was in the FBI.
Yep, the dots are all coming together now. I mean, if you've ever seen an action movie before, you probably could have figured this. But yep, the old had a hostage situation or a high pressure situation, got somebody killed, and got in trouble for it, and was actually only going to have to like go on leave, but he ends up turning in his badge and quits because of the trauma, and I guess falls into a telephone repairman job.
Yeah, his partner ended up dead. He disobeyed his superior, who just so happens to be FBI Special Agent Davis. So all that coming there, obviously, I think we could expect that Davis and Alec are going to butt heads yet again. We see that Roy is concocting something with the tanks. There's like chlorine tanks, and they're up to something, Ryan Campbell. It's chemistry, it's science.
Yeah, and I like how the movie does that, where it's like an innocuous like plant, like nobody, even the cops outside are like, why would they pick this place?
Right.
But clearly they've got there's something they see that we're not seeing.
Indeed. And now the FBI have set up their command center. One of the poor schlubs isn't put in charge of figuring out what they could be doing, what kind of chemicals they could be putting together. I don't know, Davis isn't a big fan of his, but Davis does figure out that he believes an elite group of mercenaries are working with Kruger, and we see some of their pictures up on the board. I don't think was there strings and links and whatnot.
There was not, just a push pin and a picture, which I like how he like takes off Kruger's from the pin board, holds it for like a second, and then pins it right back up, like with purpose.
Yeah, he just like pointed at it, like this guy right here.
Like
he's gonna
this
actually like distribute it.
This scene's too long for you to just stand in front of this board and talk. So just take it off, talk, and then put it right back on.
Right. We need some movement.
Right.
So now Alex shows up, and his old buddy FBI guy brings him in.
Was that my scene where one of my favorite guys was in? Is that later?
It was around this time.
It was around this time. He hollers at one of his workers, and he's like, put a list together. And this spunky guy is like, I'm working on it. Well, work faster. And he goes, okay. And he just turns around, and there's like one of those little tables with fax machines on it.
Yeah.
And he's just got like two papers that are like it's not even wide enough to fit a piece of paper. And he just like pours onto the papers and just starts like doodling on them, like working hard. Like I love that. I love when movies, like we've watched so many of these movies, and you're watching it, and then there's just one, I don't know if it's the delivery or I don't know what it is, and I just started dying laughing at that. I was like, I like that guy.
I think you're revealing something about your own work habits, that you just grab some papers.
Pretty much.
People think you're busy.
I wait until my boss is like, work on this, or how's that report coming? I'm on it.
I always found when I was in an office situation, if I was walking around, if I had something in my hand, papers or a folder or something, that people are like, oh, he's doing something.
Yeah, busybody.
We don't know what he's doing, but look at him. He's going somewhere.
That's right. Man on the go.
He's got shit to do. He's got a fucking manila folder with him. Son of a bitch. All right. Where are we? Oh, yeah. So Alex shows up. David's like, no, you're not part of this operation. You're not with the FBI anymore. Get the hell out of here. So Alec goes and sits in his truck.
Within reason,
Right.
Kind of understand.
No, I mean, yeah, Davis isn't 100% correct. Alec quit. He didn't. So he didn't want to be in it. You can't just join up whenever you want. That's not how things work, sir.
Like, imagine if John McClane just like drove up to Nakatomi Plaza afterwards and was like, I'm here, I'm going in. No. Like when he was already in the building, but that you're like, okay, he's in there. Might as well help.
Yeah.
That's it's a realistic touch in a sea of these outlandish action movies that we love and talk about and review here on the podcast. Usually it's like, yeah, I'll let you go in there. You can be my inside man, or yeah, I'll let you go in there, and I'm actually, scheming and a part of this thing, and I'm setting you up anyway. And he's really just like, no, like, listen, you're a civilian. You can't do this.
Right.
It's like, we have a legitimate boss in one of these movies.
Right, because Dave, I mean, if something happened to Al, like, how would he explain that? Like, why did you let a civilian into that plant? Well, and we also have established that these two weren't on the same page before, so it just kind of continues that thread as well. So Alec goes and sits in his truck. He's there to witness the arrival of Kruger and his whole conversation with Davis. And Kruger at one point looks up and sees Alec giving him the stink eye. So, and he obviously makes a mental note of it because he'll bring it up a bit later. Kruger tells Davis he wants $30 million in diamonds. When he gets those, Davis gets his hostages, and as you need this in this scenario, Ryan Campbell, he has 2 hours to do it. You need a deadline. You need a timeline.
Yep, there's got to be a timeline on it. And I wonder if like the bad guys in these scenarios do the homework ahead of time to figure out how long it would take to source that many uncut diamonds.
I mean, as we will find out, somebody
did he call like Zales and be like, hypothetically, if I need to get 200 uncut whatever diamonds, how long would that take?
Maybe he called Diamond Dallas Page at the Diamond
Maybe.
Exchange.
Yeah.
I
You just
don't know.
ask Grok now and probably get a wrong answer.
That's true. That is true. But yeah, I mean, he probably did, because as we find out as this thing goes, there was a lot of planning. Like you said, that tape that was down to the minute and knew exactly where the driver it was. Yeah.
To be fair, he was in prison, so you got nothing but time.
That is true. That is true. People like Lex Luthor can make like a hologram of themselves. He didn't have that ability, but he had the ability to.
He was damn close. What the hell else are you going to do but plan a elaborate scheme? And
it is very elaborate. So then we see Alec finding an alternate way inside the plant. Now, I don't know how he knew.
In.
Yeah, I don't know how he knew to look for, did he used to come here with his dad? And I don't know. But yeah, he zip lines his way in.
Yeah. Was this like the company zip line? Is this what people did on their lunch break?
Right. Or was it like every year was the company picnic at the plant? And I remember when me and my dad zip lined. I'm going to go try that. Yes, he does that. There's, of course, a guard.
We mentioned that you guys didn't remember the 90s He-Man cartoon, but the zip line makes me think, I don't know if Ryan will, because I know he was not around for this, but do you remember the Sky Commanders?
Not really. I mean, it sounds familiar, but no.
They were the toys that came with the zip line, because the whole theme of the cartoon was that they all lived at like a high altitude.
Yeah.
And they each had like their little different zip line vehicles.
I missed out.
Look them up. I'm sure you remember them.
Yeah.
Ryan, I know you're probably in the dark. Like, what the hell are you talking about, Toy Man?
Yeah, I'm not with you on that one. I'm missing the references tonight. I didn't know Space He-Man was a thing.
Yeah, he was. He was thin too. He wasn't a big He-Man guy. He was just like.
Oh yeah, I googled the images on there just to see
if it Flash Gordon. Really.
It's like we talked a few weeks ago. I think I jumped timelines at some point because we did a few weeks ago. We talked about that rodeos, cowboys or whatever space cartoon that you guys were talking about. No recollection of that.
Brave Star? Are you talking about?
Yeah. I've never heard of that.
Rodeo Cowboys. What?
Aren't they
that was like months ago.
Or something? Yeah,
he's a cowboy. It was like a Wild West town, but on a.
Yeah, but it's another cartoon around when I was a kid that I just have zero recollection of.
Well, Marshall Bravestar is crying somewhere as a result of that. Davis finds out that Alex's truck has been found, but there's no Alex. So he's like, "Oh, is that son? Did that bastard go inside? Told him not to." Alec encounters Bishop next. And Bishop, Toyman, he just spills the beans on just about everything he knows.
Probably why he was uncredited. We don't want to give credit to the Rat Fink of the crew.
No, he was the only person who spilled more beans in a movie was probably Chunk in the Goonies, because he admitted to every wrong thing he ever did, if you recall. Back at the command center.
We don't get a redemption arc.
No.
Sorry, folks.
No. Back at the command center, Davis is wondering why Kruger picked the place. You mentioned that, Ryan. And we also learned that Roy, while he was in prison, became a chemical engineer.
There you go.
These guys are, making the most of their time.
They've got that. Yeah, they got that library in the prison. They must have had some good textbooks for chemical engineering in there.
I mean, unless that's just what they call the guy who mixes moonshine in his toilet. I mean, the bar is set pretty low if you're mixing chemicals in prison.
Oh, yeah. Like Death Warrant, when Benson and his guys have their own. Everybody's got their own. Yeah. We're going to have to cover Death Warrant at some point.
Or Face in prison.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, that was a military prison, so it's going to be a little different. But
and Face didn't make things. He just made things happen.
Yeah.
He wasn't manufacturing things. Just bring it into him. He has his ways. And this is where we first hear about some sort of tunnels. There's tunnels? Maybe that's why they picked this place.
Can you just imagine when they're building this facility and the general contractor gets called over by the owner and he's like, "Hey, Can you put in secret tunnels?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or were the tunnels there already and they just built on top of it?
Yeah.
But no, because they go through they go through a wall to get to the tunnels.
Yeah, and like hidden by shelves.
We had a tunnel discussion when we did Maniac Cop 3, how that underneath the hospital just brought you into the voodoo lair.
Right.
And it was like, did they know that this was here the whole time?
Was Maniac Cop also? No, that was not.
It's tunnel logic.
Okay.
We've developed a new category for movies, tunnel logic.
Yes.
Once it's underground, anything goes. It just leads wherever it needs to go for the plot.
Alec finds like the phone box, the main like communication box there, and he sees that it's been destroyed. But again, he sees the little gimmick down at the bottom, and he does what he does, and he clips the thing on there because it doesn't have to go out. He's clipping right to the outside, and he calls Davis, says, "Hey, there were 10 mercenaries. We're down to 8." And Davis is, not anything he could really do about it. But obviously, Alec is making things a little easier because he's thinning the herd there. But it's not long before Alec is caught. But Lynn, of all people, what an unlikely hero, Ryan Campbell. Lynn to the rescue.
That's right. She's not just brain. She can put it together. She's been hiding, but she's come out of hiding to try to make a difference and help the situation and get everybody out of there.
Toyman, did you want to make any kind of mention how Lynn does not belong working in a man's world like a plastic recycling plant or anything?
No. Or how ugly she is or something.
Or how hideous she is and how maybe some chemicals must have got on her face. Anything you'd like to share with the class?
No, actually, I was going to go the opposite direction and talk about how Lynn is actually more resourceful than the usual female lead in these films. They're usually the damsel in distress, and obviously there's going to be, a segment of the film that, devotes itself to that type of a plot point. But, she ran and hid when they got there. She didn't freak out, scream, go kicking and screaming, getting tied up with everybody. And she didn't reluctantly jump in to help him, like, oh my God, what do I do? I'm panicking. Like, she ran up there proactively and cracked the female assassin over the head. So no, kudos to her. She's getting shit done in this film.
There you go, everyone. Maybe I won't get any messages about Toyman this week. Nobody gets me more messages than Toyman, whether it's on this program or on the website. Toyman he encourages feedback, whether he knows it or not. So yeah, they figure out that, they're probably going to try to make some nerve gas. Son of a bitch. And now at this point, Ryan Campbell, Kruger realizes he's got a fly in the ointment.
That's right. It's finally enough bad guys have been picked off that clearly something's not right. And it's probably not related to the FBI, but there's somebody milling around, mucking up things.
Right. It's not going by the FBI playbook, so he knows it's got to be somebody else. Lynn, for all her efforts, is captured not too long after her time with Alec. And Kruger sends Wood and Jackson to hunt down Alec. And let me tell you what, Toyman, when there's like sticks, when the stick fight, like I love that they just said, you know what, fuck it, let's work in a stick fight. Let's just have some sticks.
Nothing is ever going to top the gauntlet scene in Mission of Justice. That is one of the most memorable scenes in all of 90s, direct to video action, video store action. But you've got Jeff Wincott. Again, you've got the majority of the crew that worked on that film. That film was a huge success on video. It's obviously, we're still talking about it to this day, very memorable. So I don't know if you want to call it an Easter egg, but as far as like a reference to it, and back in the day, people weren't really concerned with all that stuff. But if you're watching these films, especially all these years later, and at the level that we talk about them like we do, oh yeah, give Jeff Wincott a broken broomstick or a couple of small pipes or something, and just let him put those skills to work and get a couple of bad guys to bump for him. Not as epic of a fight, pretty quick, and that's another note is that it's almost like video game-ish, where he's just kind of making his way through the different levels of the plant
Yep.
taking these guys out very easily to get to the big bad. We don't really have a true challenge to Alec yet.
No, so he takes down Wood and Jackson, and then he gets the radio, one of their radios, and we get our first conversation between Alec and Kruger correctly surmises that he was the guy in the truck. Again, he made a mental note of it. So now Alec's like, okay, if they're going to use the shit in the tanks to create a nerve gas, I'm going to go empty the tanks. But when he goes to do that, Deacon and Nakata, played by Leo Lee, they show up and they stop him from doing that.
Leo Lee, who fought Jeff Wincott in martial law too.
That's right. Leo Lee's been in a lot of things as well.
Mhm.
The Diamonds at this point have arrived, so they did it well under 2 hours, Ryan Campbell.
Diamonds on demand. I guess there's wherever. Is this in LA? Is this LA?
Yes.
So there must be a diamond store down on Sunset Drive. They were able to get them pretty quickly.
So that's good news, but not all of it's good news, because one of the guys they realize has been taken out by Alec is the guy that was supposed to be their helicopter pilot. But Kruger, again, more proof that he did a hell of a lot of research into this whole situation, knows that Bob McNeil is a chopper pilot.
How convenient.
Let's throw that one in there.
Also, it gives a little tip of what their plan is, because I don't know if we had any reference to a helicopter before this.
No, we got a helicopter.
No, there's a helicopter.
You're gonna have a helicopter in a tunnel. There's nerve gas. There's diamonds. I mean, it's all over the place. It's like
Was the pilot the guy that Jeff Wincott gave the brain buster to? We didn't mention that, being that we are all wrestling fans here on the podcast. When he landed on the roof, that first guy he fought,
that was the pilot.
Brain buster on concrete.
That'll do it. You dead. That happens. You dead.
That'll give you a negative attitude.
Thank you. Yes. Forever. So Kruger, Kruger gets his diamonds, only brings out, wait a minute. I just skipped one of the most important pieces, because we have the obligatory Die Hard Shaft scene, Ryan Campbell, not the Shaft scenes that you may be used to seeing on some of those websites that you visit. I'm talking about like an elevator shaft, folks.
Yeah. They pretty much go right by the book to Die Hard on this one. We've got Alec hanging from the rope, down, and then there's an explosion when Kruger shoots like a rocket launcher and he like falls, but then falls into an air duct that's on the side, like almost verbatim the way Die Hard does it. But the only thing that I think was missing was he has his shoes on.
Yeah, that's true. We get that again. Great job, Die Hard clone. Kruger then goes out. He's like, okay, I took care of that problem. Let me go out and get my diamonds. He only brings 9 hostages and tells Davis, you'll get the rest when I get safely out of here.
He tells Davis to pray he doesn't alter the deal any further.
Yes, because Davis is like, that's not the deal. But yeah, again, he's holding all the cards. He's got the plant wired. He's got nerve gas potentially. That's why a lot of these times they say not to negotiate with terrorists, because there is no end game for them. They will just keep pushing the next thing, and then once you give them one thing, they're like, all right, I know who this man is. He'll just keep giving me what I want. These things never end good for anyone. Kruger gets inside, tells Bob, hey Bob, you're gonna be my new pilot. Bob's like, the hell I am. And then they play the Lynn card.
He's always got a card to play.
Yeah, so all right, I'll do it. Now is another one of Ryan Campbell's favorite scenes.
Oh my goodness, this guy he thought this was going to be his big break.
Yeah, we got the poor floor supervisor, Brody. He is hand selected to be the decoy. So they put Brody in this linen truck that is now like wired and it's locked shut, and
he is none too happy about it, Brain.
No.
He slaps that wheel like that's his go-to move. He was like, I'll get himself, like the night before he was in bed. He's like, big day tomorrow, big day. What are you going to do? What can I do? I'm going to slap the wheel. It's not in the script, but I'm going to slap the wheel out of frustration. And he went to that well a few too many times, Brain.
He did, and eventually, though, he just had to deal with it because if he didn't do as instructed and in the time allotted, he would die. So he manages to
Similar to how the bus can't drop below 60 in speed, he has to
Right.
get where he's supposed to go within 60 minutes.
and he's doing this in like Southern California traffic. So good luck to you.
The odds are stacked against him.
Yeah. So Agent
And
Odell.
how far away are they from this destination? Because as you see, as you're watching the film, we're pretty much isolated. We're kind of like in the middle of nowhere. It's not like the
Right.
plant is next to CVS, which is next to the dance studio. You know, they're out in the desert.
They are.
How
Yeah,
the hell, though, does that tape tell him, like, turn right at the next stop? How does
Yeah,
it
Got a lot of
know?
time to
He's
plan this. He was in
fucking mad.
prison. It's meticulously planned.
All it would
But
take, though,
he
is
would
him
have had to have
run a
some-
red light or there'd have to be like
Right.
a GPS thing that would, and it would queue up the tape at the next instruction.
Yeah, he would have had to
Like books on tape.
He would have had to have somebody do that test run multiple times so they got it. Like, how did that get communicated back?
All it would take is like he runs a red light or gets stuck behind like a train, and
Yeah,
it
it
all
could be a-
gets thrown off.
It could be a goose crossing. Who knows? Do they have geese in California? Of course they would. Anyway, so Agent Odell, who was the buddy of Alec, who let him into the command center, he's assigned to follow the linen truck with some guys. Meanwhile, the bomb squad goes in.
He's got his very technological tracker system, his beep boops. He's got his beep boops in the passenger seat.
He does, and he's watching the whole thing. The bomb squad is going in because they're going to take. Because again, as far as they're concerned, Kruger and his company, they have all left. They all left in the truck. So the bomb squad goes in to disarm all the charges. Kruger at this point is elsewhere because they have made an entrance to these tunnels that we heard about. And it's really just who's left with his team, which I think is 3 people at this time, and Bob and Lynn, of course. But Alec is.
I doubted him a little bit here, Brain.
Oh, did you know?
I did, because I'm like, well, how in the hell his whole team? If his team didn't get killed, there's no way he was going to get them all in that helicopter. So I was like, either he planned that he was going to lose half his team, or
Right.
the movie made a mistake. But Brain, they have another truck that would have easily fit everybody.
Yep, everybody's in that truck. But
So
still,
he's got to be. I doubted Kruger, and he proved me wrong on that one.
But still, how were they? Or were they just? Was he the only one going to go to Mexico?
I mean, at that point, like, they were far enough away. Maybe he thought the rest of his guys would just kind of, he'd get them later. He just needed to get himself over the line or whatever. But I think that works a little bit better because, as we see, their like helicopter takeoff place is well removed from the factory.
Oh yeah.
He's probably the closest to getting away with this that we've ever seen in a Die Hard clone.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because again, this kind of breaks the Die Hard formula because we leave the place.
Yeah, he pretty much gets away with it.
We're no longer in the building. We're well away from it. In fact, it's so long, it's daylight by the time they get there.
Yeah, we're like in Barstow or something.
So yeah, they get to that truck that you mentioned. Alec ends up jumping on the truck, and boy, was that timing perfect.
That's right.
Because he jumps just as they hit a bump. So like nobody thinks like, what the hell was that? They just like, don't
get us there in one piece.
Yeah, get us in one piece. What the fuck you doing driving into a pothole, you dumb shit? So they get there again. At this point, then Odell has caught up to the linen truck, which has stopped where it's supposed to. Brody gets out the back, and Odell's like, yeah, we've been had. That was a decoy. And now it is the next morning. Kruger's truck has reached the just abandoned. I don't know where the hell they are. Probably very, very close to the Mexico border at this time.
I would imagine, yeah, it's got to be close to the border.
It's like a little shanty town looking at the buildings and everything.
It is a shanty town. You're right, Toyman. Perhaps we'll have Shantytown of the year. But perhaps not. Maybe we'll never see another Shantytown. But I like the term Shantytown. Seems like Perry Como may have had a song called Shantytown. And if not, he should have.
It feels like something you'd hear on like AWA wrestling commentary or something.
Yeah.
Could we get Shantytown made as the sequel all these years later to Angeltown?
Could we get a song parody to Funky Town called Shantytown?
Shantytown. All you songwriters out there,
Won't you take me to Shantytown? That'd be good.
That's what Alec was singing while he was on top of the roof of that truck.
I got techness at Shantytown.
Thank you. So yeah, we find out Kruger is going to fly to Mexico, and from there they're going to go to Brazil. All right, good for you. Alec has now climbed up onto the roof.
It's going to be a long helicopter ride.
I'm thinking they must just be taking the helicopter to Mexico, and then they will charter a plane to Brazil.
Okay.
Or perhaps they'll go by boat. I don't fucking know what they're doing.
They can't drive. Did you know there's no road that connects North and South America?
What?
Yeah, there's not a road. Like, you can't literally drive to South America.
That's interesting.
Real life lore on YouTube taught me that.
Okay, very good. So Alec climbs up to the roof of the building that he saw his dad and Lynn being taken to. Conveniently, this roof has a skylight, so he can bust right through it. Takes out the guard.
Question.
Yes.
When Lynn, in the beginning of the movie, way back in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, she was, yeah.
When she was talking on the phone, does she not say to Alec that he should drop by sometime?
She does say that, yeah.
Oh, my God, Ryan Campbell, you just cracked the code.
They missed the chance. He drops in through the skylight.
Mm-hmm.
It was right there, Brain. It was right there.
Maybe it got edited. Maybe it got
say to Lynn, you said I should drop by.
Right. Or she could have said, that's not what I meant when I said you should drop by.
Yes.
But I'm happy to see you.
Yeah, you get like that witty repartee between the two of them.
Perhaps it was in there and it just didn't make the final cut.
It's right there, movie.
So yeah, that guy wasn't completely dead, because as Alec is helping Bob and Lynn get out of the building, Bob gets a knife to the leg, which I would almost think Kruger would be pretty pissed off that you were even trying to harm his helicopter pilot. And yeah, no, a hurt leg isn't going to prevent him from. But what if he just bled out? I mean, come on now.
It could have hit an artery.
Exactly. So Kruger is now down. He's got Roy, good old Roy, and Kezak, I believe, is the other female
chick.
What did you just say?
The chick.
Here we go. We almost made it.
Almost made it.
No, I go. What is that? What are you guys? Jesse Spano and I'm AC Slater. Come on! All I said was she was a chick. That's all. I didn't say anything bad about her.
Yeah,
she actually seemed to be more like the second in command. She was the one that was taking anybody's shit.
She's a pretty smart broad, if you ask me. I'm Toyman.
Not like all these other dumb chicks out here.
Yeah, it's real rare.
She broke the cycle.
Okay. Toyman, you're gonna get us canceled one of these days. Anyway, you can tell Toyman doesn't have a daughter, Ryan Campbell. True or false? I mean, he wouldn't be talking this way if he had a young daughter.
That's right. I try to be a good example for my young daughter. She can do anything, God damn it.
Exactly, including be a terrorist.
I was going to say, she'd make a great terrorist someday.
She would. I hope she doesn't go down that path. Anyway, yeah, so they're like, all right, we got to split up, because now they realize that Bob and Lynn aren't where they left them. So Kezak is smart enough to see a blood trail, so she ends up finding Bob and Lynn, but she also finds herself in the middle of a Bob and Lynn trap. Bob shoots her.
I enjoyed how like all the guns look like automatic rifles, but like they're all like single shot. Like they sound like so like picks up the AK and it's just like one shot and then she falls down dead.
One kill. Mm-hmm. Roy finds Alec. So they have a little scuffle, but then Kruger's like, let's 2-on-1 this son of a bitch. But like in classic Battle Royal fashion, Toy Man, when you got the 2 heels and the 1 baby face, the 1 heel
One heel
takes
has
up
to eliminate the other.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we get here. And then Kruger's like, so he starts chasing after Alec, and Alec hides behind some drums, as one would do, Ryan Campbell.
That's right. That's literally why they make drums.
And these are 55-gallon drums, folks.
The big old things. Yeah, the big blue ones.
Yeah, not somebody in Perry Como's band playing the drums. That's 3. Now, Kruger at this point said, you'd be a good guy to have on my team. How about $2 million? And Alec, of course, refuses this.
Technically, he makes a counter offer.
That's right. He said, did he say 20 million?
20 million.
Yeah.
He said 20 million.
But he's like, okay, well, I'm not going to give you 20. You're being a smart ass. So I guess I'm going to have to kill you then. And now we get our big Alec versus Kruger. And boy, these guys are just tossing each other around. They
Like
are
a true barroom brawl.
Oh,
it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. And this is good. But of course, guess what, folks? We always give spoilers when we do these older films, but if you started this movie and didn't realize that the hero was going to win, God bless you for just, I don't know.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, ignorance is definitely bliss. And Alec wins. He calls Davis, says I got him. Davis is like, hey, you can have your job back if you want it. Catch me on a better day.
Unless you want the one that your father's been offering you this whole movie.
Right, you could be a manager at the plastic recycle, although there's a lot of, you got to fix that hole where the tunnels are. It doesn't matter. Anyway, then Alec, Bob, and Lynn kind of, we really need that fishing trip now, don't we? Huh? Yeah?
Da-da-da-da.
Yes.
Credits.
Then, well, yes, that would be a good spot if we were.
Like a freeze frame.
Yeah.
As they all chuckle. Anyway, we cut to Kruger, who's arrived back at Atwood State Prison. The head guard is getting the last laugh. Puts him behind bars. We see Kruger standing there.
The old post-credit scene but at the actual end of the movie.
Right. He's like, McNeil! Setting up our open fire sequel that never was to be, Toy Man.
And you know what? If there was any movie in this era that we hold so dear to our hearts that could deserve a sequel or should have had one, it would be this one, because this is an excellent, excellent movie.
Yeah, I mean, and it is, because you've got a great villain and a great hero. Proven gentlemen in both of their fields. Patrick Kilpatrick, Jeff Wincott. There's our end credits. Final thoughts. Ryan Campbell, this was your first time watching Open Fire, and
That's
I know
right.
you love
Yeah.
some diehard clones.
I do. They can be just about any kind, even if it's a terrible movie. If it's a diehard clone, I'm usually on board. So I enjoy that little subgenre, and I think this one gets it right. That keeps you guessing. No one ever explains the plot. There's not a single point in the movie where like a bad guy says their plan. It literally just gets unraveled bit by bit. Like you find out, oh, there's a helicopter. Oh, there's tunnels. Oh, they're switching out the diamonds because they know they're tracked. Like never once has anyone like turned to the camera and explained the plan. It's just slowly, you're putting the pieces together as the movie's like slowly kind of drip feeding you the information, which I always love when they do that.
Trickling in.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's definitely a movie where it's smart. They can tell they put a lot of thought into it. They tried to like cover their bases and not have as many plot holes, which I always appreciate when these movies that are direct to video put in the extra effort brings. There's plenty of them that just like get shit on tape and whatever. And I always appreciate the ones that go the extra mile to kind of shore it up and make it a solid movie. Good action. Like you said, a great hero and a great villain. And I just wonder now if Alec was that sequel was going to be Alec Takes on the World Crime League.
Maybe. But you know
Was
what?
was he walking down the LA River at the end? Is that what's going?
No, he was not. That's a different movie. That one, I know, one of your favorites. You know what? We're thinking about this. Patrick Kilpatrick and Jeff Wincott are both still with us and are both still active. Let's get us.
Yeah, we saw Patrick Kilpatrick in Black Creek last year.
Yeah,
BPA Films, Bulletproof Action Films.
let's get a legacy sequel going here,
There you
folks.
go.
I mean, yeah, he just had to serve out all his. It just took him a long time. Now he's like paroled.
No, it has to be like some technicality. Like,
Or
years later, they find out that Alec screwed up something on the.
Or he sells somebody else out. Like, all right, if I squeal on one of my
it's got to be some like shady bureaucratic bullshit is how he gets out and then makes his life hell.
Actionversary is coming up next month. We might need another what if column.
What if there was an Open Fire 2 or an Open Fire Legacy sequel? Oh, yeah, very, very true. Toyman, your final thoughts on this?
So as you know, because you and I were talking about it when it was decided we were going to review this, I still own this movie on VHS, and it is one of the VHS tapes that I keep in my living room for when I break out the VCR. I did not get to break out the VCR for this viewing. I did resort to YouTube to watch it, and I know it's on the archive as well for those who might want to check this out and keep it for themselves. But this is one of my favorites from back in the day. It's a breeze to go by. And I think it was during the Automatic podcast, we talked about how well some of these movies can look when they're in a claustrophobic setting. You just find like that one abandoned factory or that group of rooms or anything. And it does feel that this movie all took place within like the same 3-mile radius. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the bar and the shanty town, I'm pretty sure all those sets were probably, those buildings were multi-use for this. But Jeff Wincott's great, from Martial Law 2 and then of course Mission of Justice. Some of his other films, I wouldn't say it's not that they don't hold up well, but some are a little bit more of a chore to get through than others. Yeah. This one I would put up there probably right behind Mission of Justice. Maybe like tied with Martial Law 2, because he makes for a good hero. There's no stupidity in this one. Everything really does make sense throughout the grand scheme of the movie. So you don't even have like those quirks that you can kind of poke fun at it. Obviously, we've laughed about a couple of things here, but there's really no standout goofy moments like, why did they do this? Why did this happen in this movie? Everybody played it great. Patrick Kilpatrick, this was a year after Showdown, and I think he looks younger here than he did as Lee in Showdown.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because of the facial hair. But yeah, we got some great fight scenes. Again, we touched on it earlier. Nothing as epic as Mission of Justice, but just the ultimate, hey, I want to watch some fun action, don't want to think too hard, but I'm still going to get into it. That's what Open Fire gives you. Just a great film.
Absolutely. Open Fire. So glad we got to talk about it. And again, yeah, we need to start working on that legacy sequel. And maybe you can share your ideas. Who do you think should be involved in the Open Fire legacy sequel? You can let us know on social media at Bulletproof Pod on X and Blue Sky, at Bulletproof Action on Facebook and Instagram. You can email us as well at we're bulletproofaction@gmail.com. And we are also at Bulletproof Pod on Letterboxd. You can check out the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Subscribe and hit the bell and do all that stuff. I mentioned this, I believe, last week or 2 weeks ago, that I did record a new episode of the Direct-to-Video Connoisseur podcast where we discussed the Bruceploitation film Golden Dragon Silver Snake, one of my favorites. That is, as this one drops, Golden Dragon Silver Snake will drop as well today. So check that out. And also earlier this week, as we are recording, I recorded with John and Matt for another upcoming episode of the PM Entertainment Podcast, where we talked Hologram Man for about 17 hours. So I don't know how much of that will actually make the air, but we did have a good long conversation about Joe Lara, Evan Lurie, and Golden Butthorn Award winning Joe Campanella, who doesn't have near the epic death in the Hologram Man that he did in Blood Brothers, but it'd be pretty hard to top Brian Campbell.
Exactly. That's an all-timer.
And it won the award for a reason. So there you have it, folks. If you have not heard enough of me on this program, I'll be on 2 more, and I'll let you know when that PM Entertainment one drops. It's definitely will be here in the next couple of weeks, I would imagine. So there you have it. You know what we didn't talk about at the top? We're very close. We're very close to Actionversary, folks.
We are. I know you've been sending me updates that the wheels are turning.
Wheels are turning.
Preparation is being made.
Indeed. I'm up to about preparation I skipped right over preparation H. The pain in the ass part of the preparations are over. We're now getting closer to the nitty gritty. So yeah, we'll be having some more Actionversary talk as we get closer to August. I've already been wrangling some special guests, and we might try to wrangle a special guest or 2 here on the podcast, because right now I don't know what we're going to do next week. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I did see something when I was going through Tubi.
Tickled your fancy?
That I'm like, that would be a good one. But that would be a good one if we could get Chad Cruz to come back on the program. So if we could do that, we'll do that. But
I think if you
we'll do something else.
If you put out like some porno mags, like some like 90s hustlers under a box with like a stick propping it up.
Yeah.
You might lure him
Bugs
in.
Bunny trap.
Yeah, you might lure him in on that.
Maybe. So, the best way to find out what we talk about next week, tune in, subscribe. The podcast will just pop up on your gimmick.
There is 100% chance of you knowing what we talk about if you listen every week.
Well, maybe 99%, because maybe they don't understand what we're talking about. Sometimes I don't understand what we're talking about. That's all right. We still talk about it, and we do it every week right here on the podcast. Anything else that I haven't mentioned? Anything you want to talk about, Ryan Campbell?
No, just head over to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe, all those things. Appreciate you if you're over there and listening to us on there. Let us know if you'd be interested in a Discord channel. I've been thinking about that, Brandon, what we could do on there. Mm-hmm. And if you guys think that would be something we could do, I mean, I don't want to set one up and then it just be a shanty town. So
right.
Let us know if that's something you guys would be interested in.
I mean, yeah, it would. Like we have a Facebook group, and there is, there's some people who are active in there, but there's a lot, there's like 300 some people, but I think it's the same 5 people who are posting on there all the time, which is fine. But obviously a lot of this stuff is better when there's more people involved in getting in the discussion and doing the things. But yeah, let us know. Again, that's another thing. You could hit us up on the email or the social media. Again, stay tuned to find out what's going to happen next week. And anything else I wanted to say? I feel like I am forgetting something. Oh, if you haven't already, there's still, if you're listening to this the day it drops, we do have another contest going on for 4K UHD copies of Crime 101. So you can check that out. You can try. You could try to win.
There you go.
So do that as well.
Don't keep letting the same people win every time.
Well, last time we had some newcomers. So
I know.
I saw some of the frequent winners were back in the running for this one. So
there you go.
Let's see what happens. We'll see what happens. I will share the results next week. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, gentlemen. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof Podcast.